Greetings, greetings, greetings. Brothers and sisters. Let me share this thing. Started one night. Yeah. Greetings, 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 brothers and sisters. We're here again in another Bible lesson. My name again is Brother Moses, and my reader for you today is Brother Damani. We're coming to you from Israel, the Lord's vineyard. We teach by subject and title. We teach the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, Jesus Christ being the chief cornerstone. Today, the title of the lesson will, Who did the Lord remove from remembrance? Who did the Lord remove from remembrance? Brothers and sisters, we have the Zoom information on the screen, and if you will, you can please take note. And if you would like to contact us, the contact information is also there on the screen. But as always, we always open up with the law. So we are going to open up with the law in the book of Exodus. These laws, brothers and sisters, is commanded for us to keep. That's why we read them every time. Brother, the man is on you. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
All right. God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. By the Lord thy God, I'm a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. I show mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord would not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
All right, brothers and sisters, now we're going to go to the book of Revelation. The last chapter, the last book in the Bible, the last chapter in the Bible. We're going to see that God is still telling us about his commandments. Go ahead, my brother, when you're ready.
14. Revelation 22 and 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter into the gate into the city. But without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
All right, brothers and sisters, then we're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes. The last chapter in Ecclesiastes is 12, and we're going to continue. It's up to you, my brother.
All right. 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
So, brothers and sisters, these are the commandments that we read whenever we come on the platform. These commandments is commanded to us to keep. They are not done away with. Don't let no one tell you that you don't have to keep them and they're done away with. Anyone that is doing so, brothers and sisters, they are trying to rob you of your salvation. Brothers and sisters, don't let no one steal your crown. Again, happy Sabbath to all the Sabbath keepers. My name is Brother Moses. My reader today is Brother Damani. We're coming to you from Israel, the Lord's vineyard. We teach again from my subject and title, and the title of the lesson today is Who Did the Lord Remove from Remembrance? This lesson is for educational purposes. Brothers and sisters, it's not here to bash or demean anyone in no means or matter or fashion. It's for educational purposes. We preach the Bible, and that's what we preach. So we're going to start this lesson out in the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 15. We're going to start from Genesis chapter 15. Oh, let me put on this timer. We're going to read verse 1 to verse 6. Brothers and sisters, we encourage you to get your Bible, get a book, get a pencil or pen, and write down the scriptures, and you can go back to them in your leisure time. Genesis chapter 15, we'll read verse 1 to verse 6, verse 12 to 15, and verse 17 to verse 21. And Brother Damani, when you get it, it's your go.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
Uh-huh.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
So this is referring to the descendants of Abraham. Abraham's first son was Ishmael, and following Ishmael we had Isaac, right? And it says, through Abraham shall all the nations of the earth be blessed through his seed. Go ahead.
And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Uh-huh. So
And
this
also,
is this is referring to the land of Egypt, brothers and sisters. I see many people say that it is referring to America. This is not referring to America. This is talking about the land of Egypt. Go ahead.
that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou
Mm-hmm.
shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age.
So we know and we can see that this indeed is talking about the land of Egypt. It is not talking about America. Go ahead.
17. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Mm-hmm.
In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Mm-hmm. And that
The,
land, brothers and sisters, is the land of Jerusalem, which is present day Israel. That land is present day Israel. Go ahead.
the Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That that land, brothers and sisters, again, that land is the land of Canaan. This is that 400 years of captivity or slavery is not talking about America. It is talking about when they was in captivity in Egypt. That's the land that it's talking about. All right. Let's move on. Let's go to the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 12. We're going to read 37 to 51. The book of Exodus chapter 12. When you get it, my brother, go ahead. I'm trying to start this time and I don't want to start for nothing.
And the children, 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children.
Mm-hmm.
And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
Mm-hmm.
And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, where it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
This is the land that they served 400 years in hard bondage. In fact, they was in Egypt for 430 years total. But 30 of those years were not slavery, were not servitude, was not bondage. 30 of those years there was the children of Israel were in there as guests to Pharaoh. Right? Go ahead.
Now the sojourn of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. And it
Uh-huh.
came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the self same day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is
Mm-hmm.
that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
Go ahead.
A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall he break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when
Mm-hmm.
a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
So this is talking concerning the Passover. No uncircumcised person shall eat thereof, but a stranger, when he is circumcised and all his male is circumcised, and he wants to keep the Passover, then let him come and take and keep the Passover. Because, brothers and sisters, Israel is one law. If we say that we serve one God and everyone claims that is one God, all have to keep the same laws. Right? Go ahead. Where are you? Where are you?
49.
Go ahead.
One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
One law for the homeborn and for the stranger that sojourneth among you. Go ahead.
Thus did all the children of Israel as the Lord. Thus did all the children of Israel as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
So this is when the children of Israel was delivered out of Egypt. So in this lesson, brothers and sisters, we're going to show you the servitudes that Israel has been in and out of slavery. And brothers and sisters, this servitude or this slavery that these people has been through, we're going to see that this only fits one people, right? There's no one else under the heaven that has been going in and out of slavery other than one people on this planet, brothers and sisters. They are the one that was scattered in the four corners of the earth. No matter where you go in this world, they are the one that is under subjection by the other nations. Go ahead. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 1. We're going to read 6 to 14. Exodus chapter 1. Back up to Exodus chapter 1. We're going to read 1 to 14. 6 to 14. My sorry. When you get it, my brother, it's on you.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the
Mm-hmm.
land was filled with them.
Which nation of people, brothers and sisters, that you know can make children like rabbits? There's only one people on this planet that does that. Do you ever stop to think why is that? Why is it that the Negro people they make so many children? Is because God knew that they were going to be killed in masses. They were going to be killed in drones, brothers and sisters. That's why God told Abraham, your seed, your descendants is going to be as numerous as the stars of the sky, as the sand on the seashore. Because God knew that Israel was going to be wiped out in numbers, large numbers. Just in the transatlantic slave trade, brothers and sisters, over 100 million of us perish coming across the transatlantic ocean. Go ahead.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
They are more and mightier than we. Go ahead.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So, brothers and sisters, anyone can do history. Now we are in 2022. We have technology at our convenience. Just do your research and see who was in that land, who was in the land of Egypt for 400 years under slavery. Is it us or them? Go ahead.
Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
So we cannot find that no other nations were in Egypt in slavery for over 400 years. It's on the pyramid walls, brothers and sisters. The drawing, the paintings, they are there on the pyramid wall. Just look at the people that was there in slavery for over 400 years. They are Negroid people, brothers and sisters. The paintings are there. They are not hidden. They're in plain sight. Go ahead.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
Mm-hmm.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor,
With rigor, go
rigor,
ahead.
rigor. And they made their lives bitter with their hard bondage, in
Mm-hmm.
mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All
Mm-hmm.
their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
So we know that Egypt, Jerusalem, those places are hot countries. They are hot. Why is it that the people over there right now is so many of them is dying from skin cancer? That's because they are not supposed to be in the land, brothers and sisters. They're not the people of the land. That's why they're dying. So many of them is dying with skin cancer. They are not the people of the land. Let's go to Exodus 24. We're going to read verse 1 to verse 8. Exodus 24, 1 to 8. You can do no history and find that these people, these modern day people, were in Egypt in bondage for 400 years. No history will tell you that. No drawings, no paintings on the wall will tell you that. So who was in Egypt in bondage for over 400 years in slavery? Who was that? Go ahead.
Exodus 24.
Exodus 24, verse 1 to verse 8. Go ahead, my brother.
And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off.
Mm-hmm.
Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but it shall not come nigh, neither shall the people come up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord had said will we do. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
So they made a pact with the Lord. That's why the Lord is collecting. Because when you make a pact with the Lord, He requires it from you. Don't make pacts if you can't keep them. Don't sign contract. Don't write checks that you cannot cash. That's basically what it is. Don't write checks you can't cash. They made a pact, a blood covenant with the Lord, and the Lord is require his payment. That's it. Go ahead.
And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and built an altar under, I'm sorry, it's 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins,
In the
basins,
basins. Uh-huh.
in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar.
So Moses made a blood covenant with the children of Israel. A blood covenant, brothers and sisters. If you make a pact with the Lord, God requires for you to pay it. Go ahead.
And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord had said will we do and be obedient.
They hear what they say? They say, all that the Lord have said, we will do and be obedient. But we're going to find out later, brothers and sisters, did they in fact keep their part of the deal? Go ahead.
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord had made with you concerning all these words.
Concerning all of his words that you said that you will keep. Right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28. This is one of the books that a lot of modern people they try to stay away from. But brothers and sisters, you cannot stay away from the book of Deuteronomy 28. Because when you read Deuteronomy 28, you will come to find out that this book fits a certain people. It does not fit all people, brothers and sisters. It don't fit all people, and you cannot take it and associate it with people that it do not fit. Right? Deuteronomy 28, we're going to do some skipping. We're going to read verse 1 to verse 2, verse 4, verse 6 and 7, verse 11, verse 15, verse 18 and 19, verse 25 to 26, verse 30, verse 32, verse 37, 41 to 46, 48, 63 to 66, and 68. You can stop the video, brothers and sisters, go back and get the scriptures. For time's sake, we have to move on. Deuteronomy 28, and we're going to read, start at verse 1. It's on you, my brother.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
This is one of the pact that the Lord made with the children of Israel and tell them, if you do this, this is what I'm going to do. If you do this, this is what I'm going to do. So we're going to see which indeed did the children of Israel chose. Brothers and sisters, keep in mind these laws only fit one people. These curses only fit one people. And we're going to see indeed who are those people. Go ahead. So he said, if it come to pass, if you will listen and keep my commandments, which I command you this day, that all these blessings will come upon you and overtake you. Right? Go ahead.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord.
If you will listen and do what he says. You will get the blessings. You don't get, it's nothing for nothing when it comes to God, brothers and sisters. Go ahead. Verse 4.
4. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So he said, blessed will be the fruits of your body. Brothers and sisters, the fruits of your bodies are your children. Now look at what is happening to a particular people, their children, in this time. And it's been going on for ages, brothers and sisters. It's been going on for ages. Go ahead, 6.
6. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
Uh-huh.
The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. It shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways.
So who is chasing our enemies right now, brothers and sisters? No one. When our enemies come out against us, do they prevail over us? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But this is if we had keep the commandments of the Lord, then God would have turned that around. Go ahead.
11. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and the
Mm-hmm.
fruit of thy ground, in the
Mm-hmm.
land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee.
Okay, 15.
15. But it shall come to pass,
But it
if
shall
thou
come
wilt,
to pass, meaning it is going to happen. It shall come to pass. Go ahead.
but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these curses will come upon you and overtake you. So let's read these curses, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So curse will be your children. All you have to do is follow the signs, brothers and sisters. Curse will be your children. Go ahead.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
Go ahead.
25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them.
Go ahead.
And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away.
So our carcasses, our body, our lives will be food for every nation on this earth, brothers and sisters. Every nation is against us. Every nation. And no man is fraying them away. No man is saving us. No one is saving us because all of them is against us. Right? Go ahead.
30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou
Mm-hmm.
shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
So, brothers and sisters, who is this falling on? This is falling upon the Negroid people. This is not falling upon everyone. This is not falling upon the people of the land today. This did not happen to them, brothers and sisters. So these curses that we are reading supposed to happen to the children of Israel. So if it's supposed to happen to the children of Israel, brothers and sisters, why did not happen to them? That means this book is lying. Go ahead.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
Whose children was taken away from them and sold, brothers and sisters? Whose children? All you have to do is follow the signs. Go ahead.
37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
What are proverbs? What are bywords? Brothers and sisters, all the derogatory names that they throw on us. They call us black. They call us niggers. They call it African, African American. Which is it? Every couple of years they change our nationality. We are a byword and a proverb unto all nations, brothers and sisters. This don't fit no other people in this world. Go ahead.
41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
Whose children went into slavery, brothers and sisters? Whose children was taken away and went into and go into slavery? Did this happen to us or did this happen to them? Go ahead.
All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall be locusts consumed.
Mm-hmm.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt
Uh-huh.
come down very low.
Go ahead.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He
Mm-hmm.
shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou
Mm-hmm.
be destroyed. Because
Uh-huh.
thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
So
And they
brothers and
shall be
so brothers and sisters, we see that we have sons and daughters, they go into slavery. All these curses shall come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he command thee. Right? And it shall be upon you for a sign. What is a sign, brothers and sisters? Something that identify. All we have to do is follow the signs. Who does this fit? Go ahead.
and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 48, right? Yeah, 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So what yokes of iron on the neck, brothers and sisters? The people that came over in the transatlantic slave trade. We that was scattered in the four corners of the earth. We are the one that had yokes of irons on our necks. Our ancestors, brothers and sisters. The people who are claiming this, it did not happen to them, brothers and sisters. It did not. Were they scattered in the four corners of the earth? Were they scattered with yokes of iron on their necks? No, it did not. No, it did not happen to them. Go ahead.
63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to
Mm-hmm.
multiply you,
Mm-hmm.
so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught, and you shall
Mm-hmm.
be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it.
So we shall be what? Plucked off of the land where we go to possess. Did we come over here and what do you call it? Them ships that like Disney Cruise Line? No, we came over here in the bellies of cargo ships. We were live like livestock, brothers and sisters. We came over here in the bellies of ships like livestock. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee from among all people, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which
Mm-hmm.
neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Even wood and stone. And all you have to do, brothers and sisters, is look around. Our people is in every religion under the sun, serving wood and stone. Go ahead.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease. Here shall the sole of thy foot have rest. For the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of
Mm-hmm.
mind.
Uh-huh.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Aren't we fearing day and night, brothers and sisters? We go out and don't know if we're going to return. Go ahead.
68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by
Brothers and
the way
sisters,
where
how did we get scattered in the four corners of the earth? By the way of slave ships. Slavery, brothers and sisters. We was brought over here to the Western Hemisphere by the way of slave ships. So the Lord will bring thee again into Egypt. Egypt means bondage with ships, by the way which I spoke unto thee, and thou shalt see it no more again. Go ahead, and there.
By the way whereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So, and we will be sold unto our enemies for slave men and slave women, and no man shall save us. No man shall redeem you, brothers and sisters. Who does this fit, brothers and sisters? It only fit one people. It only fit one people. Let us move on. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30. We're going to read 1 to 8, 11 to 16, and 19 and 20. Deuteronomy 30. 1 to 8, 11 to 16, and 19 to 20. When you get it, my brother, it's on you.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, sorry, curse that, wait, I will start over. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou
Mhm.
shalt call them to mind among all the nations, where the Lord thy God hath driven thee.
Uh-huh.
And shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
Uh-huh.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
But we have to turn from our wicked ways and start keeping his commandments, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from
Mhm.
thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
Because Israel is scattered in the four corners of the earth. Anywhere you go in this world, Israel is there, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers.
So
And the Lord,
when will the people return to the land? When will Israel return to the land? Israel will return to the land when the Most High comes and gather his people from the four corners of the earth. So no one is supposed to be in that land claiming to be the people of that land, because Christ, the Messiah, the Savior, is not here yet. Only Christ will come to redeem his people. So they're not in the land. Go ahead.
the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
So these curses will fall upon the enemies that persecute Israel in the latter times. So it is potent that people change your ways, change your ways, because you will get repaid. It is not going to go and you not get paid for it. Go ahead.
And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
Mhm.
11. For this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off.
Mhm.
It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it?
Mhm.
But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it.
Because everyone knows, brothers and sisters, when they are doing wrong. It is inside of you. Everyone know when they're doing wrong. They know when they're doing things that is not righteous, that is not just before the Lord. Go ahead.
See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
Mm-hmm.
In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land where thou goest to possess it.
So why aren't we being blessed? Why is the majority of us being killed? Why are the majority of us being subjected? Why are we being suppressed, brothers and sisters? Can it mean because we are not keeping the God's commandments, his statutes and his judgment which he command us? That's exactly what it is, brothers and sisters. He said, if you keep them, he will do you good. If you don't keep them, he will continue to destroy you. He will continue to destroy us if we don't keep his laws. Go ahead.
19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
So he said, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, O children of Israel, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, God is telling us, brothers and sisters, to choose life, that both us and our children may live. But as you can see, as I say, why is our children getting killed every day? That is because we are not keeping the commandments of God. Go ahead.
That thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which of the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
So, brothers and sisters, you can see the reason why Israel is not in the land. So, you know the people then that is in the land right now is not the children of Israel. Because this Bible, this book tells you that Israel will not be gathered until the coming of the Lord. They will not be gathered. Let's move on. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32. We're going to read 9 to 17, 20 to 22, and 26. Deuteronomy 22, brothers and sisters. Starting at verse
22 or 32?
hmm,
22 or 32?
32. 32. Deuteronomy 32. Starting at verse 9. It's up to you, when you're ready. When you're ready, you can go ahead.
Okay. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Hmm.
He found him a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye.
Hmm.
As an eagle stirred up her nest, fluttered over her young,
Hmm.
spread abroad her wings, taketh them, bear them on her wings.
So
So
the Lord kept Israel all the days that they walked. But when Israel transgressed against the Lord, he punished them. Every time they do wrong against him, what he do? He send them into captivity by other nations. Is that wrong? No, it's not, brothers and sisters. It is just reward. That's what it is. Go ahead.
so the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him.
Mm-mm.
He made him ride on the high places of the earth, he might eat the increase of the field, and
Mm-hmm.
he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock,
Mm-hmm.
butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
But Israel did what? They got beside themselves and they start disobeying God. That's what he says. So Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. because thou art fat and hast grown thick. So when we became ourselves, guess what? We turned against God. And we went back on the promise that we made with him in the presence of Moses. That all that the Lord said we will do, they turned and went against that contract. So what did God do? Go ahead.
He provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Uh-huh.
They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom
So
their
they start
fathers feared not.
so they start serving pagan gods again. They came out of Egypt serving pagan gods. They made a covenant, a blood covenant. They say all that the Lord said we will do. And what did they do? They turn after God fat them up, thicken them up. They start giving all these fatness and all these thickness unto other gods. Go ahead.
20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children of whom is no faith.
I will hide my face from them and I will see what the end shall be. Go ahead.
They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They
Mm-hmm.
have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I
Mm-hmm.
will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
Go ahead.
For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountain.
So every time Israel decide to go rogue, you know what God do? He send nations to consume them. Every time. Go ahead. 26.
26. I said, I would scatter them into the corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
So God say, I will scatter them into corners. What corners? The four corners of the earth, brothers and sisters. And I will make the remembrance of them to cease from amongst man. Do we know who we are? No. Every other nation out here, brothers and sisters, they know who they are. You can ask them, they can tell you where they're from, they can tell you the ancestors, they can tell you the lineage. Where is ours? Where is ours? What are we going to tell you? Well, we're from the Virgin Islands, we're from Antigua, we're from Jamaica, we're from America. No, brothers and sisters, we are the only people that don't know who we are. But guess what? Every other nation know who we are. We are the only one that don't know our own heritage, our bloodline, and where we come from. Because, brothers and sisters, we are the people of this book. Israel is the people of this book. The Negroes are the people of this book. These are the people that have been going in and out of slavery. That's why they lost their God, they lost their heritage, they lost their name, they lost their self. Let us continue. Let's go to Daniel 9, and we're going to see if indeed that we are under the curse. Daniel 9, we're going to read from verse 8 to verse 14. Daniel 9, 8 to 14. Daniel 9, 8 to 14. It's on you, my brother.
O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Because we have sinned against thee, the Lord. Go ahead.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him.
Mm-hmm.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets.
Remember, brothers and sisters, when we started, what did the children of Israel say? All that the Lord say we will do. But you read in here, neither have they obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants and his prophet. Moses gave them to him. Go ahead.
Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law,
Mm-hmm.
even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
It says, yes, all Israel have transgressed the law. All Israel has broken that covenant. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us. Are we under the curse, brothers and sisters? Yes, we are under the curse. Up to this day, we are under the curse. Up to this day, we are subjected under every other nations on this earth. Just look at our conditions anywhere you go in this world. Continue, my brother.
And he had confirmed with his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by
Mm-hmm.
bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven had not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem.
So have this curse that we go on, have this retribution, has this thing that we are going through, has any other nation got this? No, brothers and sisters. No other nation have went through what we are going through. We are still going through. He said, for under the whole heaven, it has not been done as it has been done to Jerusalem. No other people can claim this. None. Go ahead.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, and we
Mm-hmm.
might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
Uh-huh.
Therefore had the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice.
And yes, he is righteous, brothers and sisters. What he is doing is righteous. So a lot of people will say, oh, if God loved you, why he killed my son? Why he killed my daughter? Brothers and sisters, everything that the Lord do is righteous because we are the one that broke his covenant. And he told us, I put before you life and death, good and evil. He told us to choose life that we and our children may live. So if we break the covenant, brothers and sisters, what do you think the punishment is? Death. Death, brothers and sisters. He is only doing what we signed up for. It is in the contract. Let us move on. Let's go to Judges chapter 13. We're going to see some of the captivities. Judges chapter 13, we're going to read 1 to 8 and 10 to 24. This only fits one people, brothers and sisters. Judges chapter 13, 1 to 8, 10 to 24. When you get it, my brother, you can go ahead.
And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Philistines 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not. Thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing.
Mm-hmm.
For lo, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he
So,
shall
brothers and
begin
sisters,
to do,
go ahead, go ahead.
and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistine.
So, this is talking about Samson, brothers and sisters. Samson was an Israelite. Samson was an Israelite. Samson had dreadlocks in his hair. So, which people, brothers and sisters, we know that have dreadlocks? It's not the people who are calling themselves the people of the book today. The people who is synonymous with dreadlocks is the Negroid people, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God,
Mm-hmm.
very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death.
So what is unclean thing? Food that you're not supposed to eat. Go ahead.
Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O my Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born.
Skip to verse 10.
10. 10. And the woman had made haste and ran and showed her husband and said unto him, Behold, the man had appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife and came to the man and said unto him, Art thou the man that spakest unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, Now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, Of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
Go ahead.
And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, Though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto the Lord. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of the Lord.
Go ahead.
And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord, What is thy name, that when thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor? And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret?
So my name is secret. Why you asking me my name? Go ahead.
So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering and offered it upon a rock unto the Lord. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on.
So
For it came,
the angel ate with them? Yes, he did. Go ahead.
for it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on it, and he fell on their faces to the ground, and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of the Lord did no more appear to Manoah and to his wife, and Manoah knew not. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said unto his wife, We shall surely die because we have seen God.
Go ahead.
But his wife said unto him, If the Lord were pleased to kill us, he would not have received the burnt offering and the meat offering at our hands, neither would he have showed us all these things,
That
nor
makes
would as
sense.
this yeah, nor would as this time have told us such thing as these.
Go ahead.
And the woman bare a son and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him.
Go ahead. Hey,
That's
excuse me.
it. That's 24.
Keep calling. Let me see if something happened. Hold on. Yeah. Let us move on to Second Kings. Second Kings 17. We're gonna read 1 to 6. Hello. I didn't Bible study with that. Yeah. Uh, well, I'm gonna call you back. I live right now. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Second Kings 17, 1 to 6. I'm sorry. Sorry, brothers and sisters. So this is one of us, Samson, that we just read. And Samson, as you know it, he had dreadlocks on his head. Dreadlocks is synonymous with our people. Look at my hair. Look at the brother that is reading. We have dreadlocks on our head. Who is dreadlocks synonymous with? Is it synonymous to the people who are calling themselves the Jews? They got straight hair. They don't have kinky here. They don't have woolly here. This don't fit them, brothers and sisters. You can go ahead and read, my brother.
In the 12th
17,
year of
the second King 17.
Mhm.
Go ahead. 1 to 6.
In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the king of Israel that were before him.
Mm-hmm.
Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and
Mm-hmm.
Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents.
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years.
So
And in
it
9 years,
so the king went up and besieged, the king of Assyria besieged Samaria 3 years. Remember that they eventually took those people out of Samaria and placed people in the land that is not supposed to be in the land. Right? Go ahead. So he besieged it 3 years. Go ahead.
in the 9 years of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Hala and in Heber by the river of Gozan, and in the city of the Medes.
So but
Of the Medes.
why did God allow this to happen? Because Israel was not doing right. Every time Israel starts sinning against God, he sends nations to enslave them, put them in captivity. Right? Let's go to First Chronicle 9 and we're going to read just verse 1. First Chronicle 9 and 1. First Chronicle 9 and 1. Every time they sin against God, God put them in captivity. First Chronicle 9 and 1. Go ahead.
So all Israel were reckoned by genealogies, and
Mhm.
behold, they were written in a book of the kings of Israel and Judah, who were carried away to Babylon for their transgression.
For what?
Their
For their,
transgression.
for their transgression. They was carried away to Babylon for sinning against God. Go to Second Chronicles 2. Second Chronicles 36. Second Chronicles 36. They was carried away captive for their transgression. Every time they sin against God, God put them in captivity. Israel been a nation for over 6,000 years, but Israel has only been free for a little over 500 years. All of their lives they've been into captivity. All of their existence they've been into captivity. And guess what? We are in captivity up to this day, 2022. Most of their life they've been in captivity. Second Chronicles 36. We're going to read 1 to 3, 5 to 17, 20, and 22 to 23. First, Second Chronicles 36. 1 to 3. You can go ahead, my brother.
Then the people of the land took Jehoaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king in his father's stead in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Jehoaz was 20 and 3 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 3 months in Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And the king of Egypt put him down at Jerusalem, and condemned the land in 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold.
Mm-hmm.
5. Jehoiakim was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God.
Uh-huh.
Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and bound him fetters to carry him to Babylon.
So they put them in chains to carry them into Babylon. Why? For sinning against God. That's why the guy said he did wicked in the land of Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar also carried of the vessels of the house of the Lord to Babylon, and put them in his temple at Babylon.
Uh-huh.
Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and his abominations which he did, and that which was found in him, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. And
Uh-huh.
Jehoiachin, his son, reigned in his stead.
Mm-hmm.
Jehoiachin was 8 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
You see all of them? You see all of these nations, what they're doing? All of these descendants, the children just like the father. He did evil in the sight of the Lord. Go ahead.
And when the year was expired, King Nebuchadnezzar sent and brought him to Babylon with the goodly vessels of the house of the Lord, and made Zedekiah his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord.
So it just don't stop. Go ahead.
And he also rebelled against and he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by God. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord God of Israel.
You hear that? And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who made him swear by God, but he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord thy God. Go ahead.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord which he had hallowed in Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place.
Go ahead.
I am verse 20.
No, say,
No, 17. I'm sorry.
seven,
Therefore he brought upon them the king of
no, 16.
Chaldee.
16. You skip 16.
16, sorry. But they mocked the messengers of God and despised his words and misused his prophets,
Mm-hmm.
till the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, till there was no remedy.
Therefore,
Therefore he brought upon them the king of Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of the sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young man or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand.
so you see what God do to Israel? Every time they turn their backs against him, what he do? He make nations to come and enslave them and slew them, kill them and enslave them. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia,
Uh-huh.
to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbaths to fulfill 70 years.
Go ahead. My
Yet
Lord. Go ahead.
now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the
Mm-hmm.
kingdoms of the earth hath the Lord God of heaven given me, and
Who
he
was
hath
giving it?
charged me,
Who gave it to him? Who gave him the kingdoms?
the
The
Lord
Lord
God,
God of heaven gave this kingdom into the hands of Cyrus, the Medes. Go ahead.
and he hath charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? The Lord his God be with him, and let him go up.
Mm-hmm. So Cyrus the Persian God turned over the Nebuchadnezzar into the hands of Cyrus. So every time, as we can see, brothers and sisters, that Israel sinned against God, God turned them over into another nation's hand to be enslaved. And they don't learn. They just keep doing it over and over and over and over. Like, I can't understand. Let's go to Ezra chapter 1. We're going to read 1 to 5 and 7. Ezra 1, 1 to 5, and then 7. It's just like when they went into the wilderness and they see God is actually killing people in the wilderness. You think that stopped them? No. They continue to sin against him. Although that they see that he is destroying them, they continue to sin against him. Go ahead.
We're not doing Jeremiah?
Yeah, Jeremiah 29 and 10. I'm sorry. Jeremiah 29 and 10. He is real, Messiah. He is real. And we're doing it up to this day. Even though God is killing us, we still refuse to turn back. Go ahead. We still refuse to turn to him. We want to do what we want to do. Jeremiah 29 and 10.
But thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you, and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place.
So they was in Babylon for how many years? 70 years.
Yes.
So he said, after 70 years, I will revisit you, and I'm going to bring you back again to your land. Right? Let's go now to Ezra 1. We're going to read 1 to 5 and then 7. Ezra 1, 1 to 5 and 7. So the people, brothers and sisters, who is the people that been going in and out of all this captivity? We are the people. Our ancestors is not the ones them who's calling themselves the people. Ezra chapter 1, 1 to 5 and 7. When you get it, my brother, go ahead.
Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
So God put it in Cyrus' mind or in Cyrus' head to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, because that second temple was the temple after Solomon's temple, right? Go ahead.
Who is there among you of all his people? His God be made with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the free will offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem.
So look what
Then
Cyrus is doing for God. Go ahead. So, and Cyrus
then
is not Israel. Cyrus he's a Persian, right? Go ahead.
then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
7. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels out of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and put them in the house of his gods.
So Nebuchadnezzar, what happened to Nebuchadnezzar? God killed him because he took the vessels out of the house of God, and he was having drinks with his concubines and making mockery of God. And God sent an angel to write across the wall and tell him, this night your life is required. And that very night, Nebuchadnezzar was killed. Then Cyrus the Great took over. Let's go to Daniel 5, 1 to 8, 13, 17 to 18, and 23 to 31. Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 5. When you get it, my brother, go ahead. 1 to 8, 13, 17 to 18, and 23 to 31.
Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords.
Actually, I was saying Nebuchadnezzar. My bad. It's Belshazzar. Belshazzar. Sorry. Belshazzar is the one that got killed when the angel visited him, not Nebuchadnezzar. My bad. Go ahead.
Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, as he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that
Uh-huh.
the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein.
Mm-hmm.
Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank
Mm-hmm.
wine and praised the gods of gold and silver and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Mm-hmm.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote.
So all he saw that was writing across the plaster of the wall was just fingers. He didn't see the person, he didn't see the hand. All he saw was fingers writing across the plaster. Go ahead, on the wall. Go ahead.
Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loose, and his knees smote one against another.
I bet he sobered up. Go ahead.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be
Mm-hmm.
the third ruler in the kingdom.
Uh-huh.
Then came in the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof.
Mm-hmm.
13. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? 17. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet
Mm-hmm.
I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation.
So Daniel is who? Daniel is Israel. So even when God gives signs, no one can interpret those signs other than Israel, right? They have to call for someone of the children of Israel in order to interpret those signs. Go ahead.
O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor.
Mm-hmm.
23. But has lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified.
Uh-huh.
Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mean, tekel, upharsin.
It's a mene tekel ufasin. Go ahead.
This is the interpretation of the thing many. God had numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
Uh-huh.
Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting.
Uh-huh.
Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
So he gave in to the Medes and Persian. Go ahead.
Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In
Mm-hmm.
that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain, and Darius the Medians took the kingdom, being about 62 years old.
So that's when Darius took over from Belshazzar. Belshazzar is Nebuchadnezzar's son. And Belshazzar was the one that was slain because of the angel when the angel wrote across the wall. It was not, again, it was not Nebuchadnezzar. It was Belshazzar. I made a mistake. All right. So let us go to Daniel 7. Daniel 7. Daniel 7, 1 to 6. When you get it, you can go ahead, my brother.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he
Mm-hmm.
wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens drove upon the great sea.
Mm-hmm.
And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Mm-hmm.
The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And it
Mm-hmm.
said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it.
Mm-hmm.
After
So,
this I saw in
go ahead.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
So this is the Roman Empire, brothers and sisters. This is the Roman Empire. So Daniel's dream, where he saw these four kingdoms that arise: the Babylonian, the Medes and the Persians, the Grecian and the Romans. And these four kingdoms rule the whole world unopposed. And this thing was only telling, gave the vision by Daniel. Because even though that these visions was coming, no other person, no other nation could have interpreted these dreams other than an Israelite. And in this time, Daniel was that prophet. Let's move to Jeremiah 16, and we're going to read 10 to 16. Jeremiah 16, 10 to 16. Jeremiah 16, 10 to 16. When you get it, my brother, go ahead. Jeremiah 16, 10 to 16.
And it shall come to pass, and thou shalt show this people all these words, and it shall say unto thee, Wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? For what is our iniquity? What is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God?
I know that they ain't asking Jeremiah what they did against God. I know they cannot be asking these questions. Why did the Lord bring these great judgment against us, and what is our sin that we have sinned against him? Go ahead.
Then shalt thou say unto them, Because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after our other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law, and ye have done worse than your fathers. For behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor.
And are we being showed favor now? No, we are not being showed favor because we are worshiping other gods. And God said, when we are worshiping other gods and praying to Him, He will not hear our prayer. He will not hear our cry. Go ahead. So that's why we crying night and day and we don't get any results because we continue to serve pagan gods. And but we continue to serve pagan God, God will not hear our cry. He will not hear our prayer. Go ahead, my brother.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, and it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, and brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I
Hmm.
will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
But this is in the latter days when we, Israel, is gathered from the four corners of the earth. If the people in the land is there, then they don't need to be gathered because they're in the land already. But they are not, the people of the land is not in the land. That's why they will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. Go ahead.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks.
So, anywhere that we are, we will be gathered in that time. But don't think we're going to just be gathered and march up in the land. We will be gathered and purged, brothers and sisters. We will be purged. Go back to chapter 6. Jeremiah 6, we're going to read 8 to 19. 6, 8 to 19. 6, 8 to 19. Let's move on. Go ahead, my brother.
Be thou instructed, O Jerusalem, lest my soul depart from thee, lest I make thee desolate, a land not inhabited.
Hmm.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall thoroughly glean the remnant of Israel as a vine. Turn back thine hand as a grape gatherer into the basket. To whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, their ear is uncircumcised, and they cannot hearken. Behold, the word of the Lord is unto them a reproach. They have no delight in it.
Because we don't believe in God. Go ahead. Even though we say we do, we don't. He said, they honor God, they honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Go ahead.
Therefore, I am full of the fury of the Lord. I am weary with holding it. I will pour it out upon the children abroad and upon the assembly of young men together. For
Mm-hmm.
even the husband with the wife shall be taken, the age with him that is full of days.
Uh-huh.
And their houses shall be turned unto others, with their fields and wives together. For I will stretch out mine hand upon the inhabitants of the land, saith the Lord.
And who is in our homes right now? It is not the people of the land. And the houses shall be turned unto others. So other people is inhabiting the land right now that is not supposed to be in the land. They are not the people of the land. Go ahead.
For from the least of them, even unto the greatest of them, everyone is given to covetousness.
Mm-hmm.
And from the prophet, even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely.
Uh-huh.
They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, and there is no peace.
When there is no peace. Go ahead.
Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not all ashamed. They were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be cast down, saith the Lord.
Hmm.
Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they
Mhm.
said, we will not walk therein.
We
Also,
refuse to keep God's laws. Even now, you're telling people, hey, you know you have to keep the Sabbath. Do they listen? No, they don't care. They stiffen the neck and harden the ears that they will not hear you. Go ahead.
also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken.
And that's what I just said. Even when you go and tell them and warn them, keep God's commandments, stop breaking his Sabbath, stop eating all these abominations. Do they hear? No. But when God chastises them, they're crying. What are you crying for? Go ahead.
Therefore, hear ye nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them.
Mm-hmm.
Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it.
But they rejected it. They refuse to do the will of God. No one wants to turn back. No one wants to do what thus says the Lord. Everyone wants to do their own will. Go to Jeremiah 8. We're going to read 5 to 11. Jeremiah 8, 5 to 11. When you get it, my brother, you can go ahead.
Jeremiah 7.
Oh, sorry, Jeremiah 7, 21 to 24. 7, 21 to 24. Go
All
ahead.
right. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, put your burnt offerings unto your sacrifices, and eat flesh.
Uh-huh.
For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices.
No, he did not. He tell them to obey his laws. Moses gave it to them. He didn't tell them about burnt offering and sacrifice for sin. He tell them to obey my law, do them that you and your children may live. Go ahead.
But this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people. And
Hmm.
walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you.
That's exactly what he tell them. Go ahead.
But they hearkened not, nor inclined their ear, walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward.
They went backwards and not forward. Now we're going to 8. Jeremiah 8, 5 to 11. This is all the evil that Israel is doing against their God, their creator, their maker. Go ahead.
Why then is this people of Jerusalem slidden back by a perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit, they refuse to return.
Mm-hmm.
I hearkened and heard, but they spake not aright.
Mm-hmm.
No man repented him of his wickedness, saying, what have I done? Everyone turned to his course as the horse rushed into the battle.
Everybody wants to do what they want to do. Go ahead.
Yeah, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times,
Mm-hmm.
and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming.
Uh-huh.
But my people know not the judgment of the Lord.
Exactly. Because everyone is doing what they want and no one is looking at the signs. No one is paying attention to the signs. No one knows nothing about God. Go ahead.
How do ye say, we are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain main he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain.
The pen of the scribe is just like the pen wrote, the scribes wrote the words in the Bible for nothing. Why? Because we refuse to keep it. So it's just like they wrote it in vain. Go ahead.
The wise men are ashamed, they are dismayed and taken. Lo, they have rejected the word of the Lord, and what wisdom is in them?
You remember what I always say? If we get rid of the commandments, what wisdom do we have? What wisdom do we have? We have no wisdom without God's word, without God's commandment, without his laws, his statutes, and his ordinances. No wisdom. So he said, and the wise men are ashamed. They are dismayed and taken low. They have rejected the words of the Lord. And what wisdom is in them? None. None, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
Therefore will I give their wives unto others, and their fields to them that shall inherit them. For everyone from the least even unto the greatest is given to covetousness. From the prophet even unto the priest, everyone
So,
dealeth falsely.
so whose wives were taken from them and given to other people? Was it the Negroes? The ones them who's been in and out of slavery? Or is it the people who's saying that they're the people now? No, it's the one them who's been in and out of slavery. Their wives been taken over and over and over and given to other people. Sold. Go ahead.
For they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people, slightly saying, Peace, peace, and there is no peace.
When there's no peace, because the preachers, them, the watchmen, the people who are supposed to be shepherds, they are not teaching people to fear the Lord. They're talking about love, 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 love. God love you no matter what. Just do what you want to do and it's okay. God still love you. That's why they're saying peace, peace, and God is saying there is no peace. There is none. Because the prophets that he left to be in charge, they are leading the people straight into the lake of fire. Let's go to Luke 21. Are we reading 20 to 24? Luke 21, 20 to 24. It's on you, my brother.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Uh-huh.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Uh-huh.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
May be fulfilled because God predicted that Jerusalem will be torn down. And this came to pass in 70 AD when the Romans went into Jerusalem and tore it down to the ground, took the inhabitants of Jerusalem captive, and we now, as over here on the western hemisphere, scattered in the four corners of the earth. Go ahead.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there
Mm-hmm.
shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So now we're seeing that Jerusalem is trodden down of the Gentiles until the Gentiles be fulfilled. Who are the Gentiles? Is the time fulfilled yet, brothers and sisters? No, it's not fulfilled yet. So who are these Gentiles that is in Jerusalem treading it down? If the book is telling you that Gentiles is treading down Jerusalem, that means the people of the land is not there because the people of the land is not Gentiles. They're the Israelites. Take that into consideration, brothers and sisters. And we're going to see who are the Gentiles. Let's go to Genesis 9. We're going to read 18 to 19, 22 to 27. Genesis 9, 18 to 19, 18 and 19, and 22 to 27. Genesis chapter 9. Is you, brother.
And the sons of Noah went forth out of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth.
And and
And
these three sons are the one that populated the earth, brothers and sisters, on this side of the flood. From these three sons, Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Go ahead.
Ham is the father of Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread.
For these three sons were the whole earth overspread. These are the fathers of the nations that is on this earth today, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without.
Uh-huh.
And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their fathers.
Uh-huh.
And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And
Uh-huh.
he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he
Uh-huh.
said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
Uh-huh.
God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
So God shall enlarge Japhet, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So we will see who is dwelling in the tents of Shem. Right? Go ahead. So let's go now into Genesis chapter 10. And we like you to, some of y'all can keep, put an eye on the screen. So Genesis chapter 10, we're going to read verse 1 to verse 3. Verse 1 to verse 2. Let's read verse 1 to verse 2, and then we're going to read 3. Go ahead. Genesis chapter 10, we're going to read verse 1 and verse 2. Go ahead.
Now these are the generations of the son of Noah,
Uh-huh.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
So Shem,
And,
Ham,
un-
and Japheth. Go ahead.
and unto them were sons born after the flood.
Uh-huh.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tyrus.
So these are the sons of Japheth, brothers and sisters. Gomer and Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus. Go ahead.
And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Dorgamah.
So take note of this, brothers and sisters. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Ripha, and Togarmah. Brothers and sisters, Ashkenaz, the people who are over there in the land, the large sects of the Jews who are calling themselves the Jewish people, they are Ashkenazi Jews, brothers and sisters. If you ask any one of them, run into one of them and say, Are you Ashkenazi? They're going to tell you, Indeed, yes, we are Ashkenazis. Ashkenazi Jews came from Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz is the progenitor of the Ashkenazi Jews. But we're going to see who these Ashkenaz or Ashkenazi Jews are. Keep reading to 5. Keep reading to 5.
And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim.
Mm-hmm.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families in their nations.
So these were the isles of the who?
Gentiles.
These were the isles of the Gentiles. So the Bible tells us Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles. Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles. So we just see that Ashkenaz is the Gentiles. And in Luke chapter 21, that we just read, it said Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles until the Gentiles be fulfilled. So who is in Jerusalem? The Gentiles. Is this the Israelite, the descendants of Abraham? No, brothers and sisters. They are the Gentiles, which are Ashkenazi Jews. Let's move on. Let's go to Genesis chapter 11. Genesis chapter 11. And we're going to read verse 10 to verse 27. Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles until the return of Christ. So who is in the land right now? The Gentiles, brothers and sisters. And the Bible tells you, Japhet shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So who is in Shem's house? Japhet, which is the Gentiles. Genesis chapter 11, and we're going to read 10 to 27. Is on you, my brother.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
Mm-hmm.
And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And Arphaxad lived 530 years and begat
Uh-huh.
Salah.
Uh-huh.
And
So these,
Arphaxad,
remember he said these are the generation of whom?
Shem.
Of Shem. These are the generation of Shem. Keep that into mind, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters.
Uh-huh.
And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And
Uh-huh.
Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. And
Uh-huh.
Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters.
Go ahead.
And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Ruth. And Peleg lived after he begat Ruth 209 years and begat sons and daughters. And Ru lived 230 years and begat Saru.
Mm-hmm.
And Ru lived after he begat Saru 207 years and begat sons and daughters.
Uh-huh.
And Saru lived 30 years and begat Nahor.
Uh-huh.
And Saru lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah.
Uh-huh.
And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
So now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. So these are three brothers, brothers and sisters. Who did Abraham came from? He came from Shem. Shem is the progenitor of Abraham. Now, remember the people that we just read that is living in the land is from Shem, not is from Japheth. Sorry. The people who are in the land is from Japheth, not Shem. Abraham is from Shem. Two different lineage, brothers and sisters. Read 27.
Now these are the generation of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Hor, and Haran. Haran begat Lot.
So Lot is Abraham's nephew from one of his brother, and his brother died. Haran died. Haran is Lot's father. Haran is Abraham's brother. So Abraham came from Shem. He did not came from Japheth. And the people who are living in the land today is the children of Japheth. The Bible tells you that Japheth will be trodden down Jerusalem, or the Gentiles will be trodden down Jerusalem until the return of Christ. So who is in Jerusalem? Japheth, the Ashkenazi Jews. It is not the people of the land, brothers and sisters. Let us move on. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10. And we read verse 6. Genesis 10, read verse 6.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan.
So the sons of Cush, or the sons of Ham, that's why they call the Hamites Cushi or Cushites. So the sons of Ham is Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. So brothers and sisters, Cush is the father of the Ethiopians. Take a look at the screen. Cush is the father of the Ethiopian. Mizraim, which is Ham's other son, he is the father of the Egyptian. Put, Ham's other son, is the father of the Libyans. And Canaan, brothers and sisters, Ham's other son, is the original inhabitor of Jerusalem. He is the original inhabitor of Jerusalem. And from Canaan, God took that land from him and his descendants, which is the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Hivites, the Girgasites, those 7 nations that was living in Canaan, which is present-day Israel. God took that land from them and gave it to the descendants of Abraham. Remember, brothers and sisters, Abraham is from the lineage of Shem, not Japheth. Not Japheth. So we know that the people of the land, read this, my brother. Can you read this on the screen? So Ham, listen who Ham is. This is from the Zandervan Compact Bible Dictionary. the Zandervan Bible Dictionary. Go ahead, my brother.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the,
Ham is the progenitor or the father of the dark races, but not the who?
not the Negroes,
Not the Negroes, but who?
but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
The
Genesis 10,
Egyptian,
6 through
the,
20.
the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanite, those are the children of Ham, but not the Negroes. Who did the Negroes come from? The Negroes came from Shem, brothers and sisters. This world is 2/3 of people of color, melanated people. The Negroes came from Shem. They are Shemites. That's why these people are saying that they're Semitic people. No, the Negroes are the Shemitic people. This is what the book says. The Negroes are the Shemitic people. Japhet is not the Shemitic people. Japhet are the Gentiles, brothers and sisters. They are the Gentiles. Let's move on. Let's go to Genesis chapter 12. Genesis chapter 12. So some of the pastors them out, like I see one pastor, he always preaching. God said to bless the Jews. He who bless the Jews will be blessed, and he who curse Israel will be cursed. So are they blessing the wrong people or the right people? Read that scripture. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to verse 3.
Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I
Uh-huh.
will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a
Uh-huh.
blessing.
Go ahead.
And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in
Mhm.
thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Be blessed.
So now they take the scriptures from the Bible. They say, I will bless thee if I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. So, brothers and sisters, if this is the case, why are you not blessing the people that God tell you to bless? You're blessing the wrong people. Because God said the Negroes, the people, the descendants of Abraham, those are the ones you're supposed to bless. God said, if you bless them, I will bless you. And if you curse them, I will curse you. So, brothers and sisters, you are blessing the wrong people. You're blessing the wrong people. Let's move on. Let's go to Genesis 50. Genesis chapter 50. We're going to read 1 to 14. Genesis 51 to 14. Genesis 51 to 14. You're blessing the wrong people. Genesis 51 to 14 is on you.
And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father.
Uh-huh.
And the physicians embalmed Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And 40 days were fulfilled for him, or so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 60 and 10 days.
So this is the death of Jacob, brothers and sisters. Israel. This is the death of Jacob, Joseph's father. Right? So we are going to see this story. Follow this story closely, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying,
Uh-huh.
My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die. In my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan, there shalt thou bury me.
So Jacob had a grave already chosen for him in the land of Canaan. That's our land. That's Jerusalem, present day Israel. And Jacob told his sons, that I want, that is where I want to be laid. That's where I want to be buried, right? In Canaan, which is present day Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Now therefore, let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again.
Uh-huh.
And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, according as he made thee swear.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt,
Uh-huh.
and all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen.
So all the Israelites, except the little children, went up to bury their father Jacob. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, and there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made
Mm-hmm.
a mourning for his father 7 days.
Uh-huh.
And when the inhabitants of the land the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians.
So who?
Wherefore the name of
This is a grievous mourning to the who?
the Egyptians.
So why would they say that? These are the Israelites. So why would these people of the land say this is a grievous mourning for the Egyptians? Brothers and sisters, because the Egyptians and the Israelites are the same color people. That's why it's easily to mistaken them for Egyptians. Wasn't Moses mistaken for an Egyptian? Look at the screen. This is the color of the Egyptian people. They're Kemetic people. They're black people. We just read Ham is the father of the dark races, but not the Negroes, not the Israelites. So these people said this is a grievous mourning for the Egyptian. Wasn't Paul mistaken for an Egyptian? Why is that, brothers and sisters? Because they were the same color people. They're melanated people. So, verse 11, and when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Therefore, the name was called, go ahead, Abel Mizraim.
Which is beyond Jordan. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for possession of a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph returned into Egypt, and he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father after he had buried his father.
So, brothers and sisters, this is why the people thought that all these people were Egyptians, because the Israelites, the true Israelites of the Bible, and the Egyptian people, those black people, they are the same color people. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Amos chapter 9. We're going to read 6 to 15. Amos 9, 6 to 15. Amos 9, 6 to 15. Amos 9, 6 to 15. When you get it, my brother, is on you. Amos 9, 6 to 15.
It is he that builded his stories in the heaven, and hath founded his troop in the earth. And he that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poured them upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me,
You
O
hear what you
children
hear
of
what
Israel?
you hear what God said through the mouth of Amos? Are ye not as the children of Ethiopians unto me? Brothers and sisters, look at the screen. Look at the Ethiopian people. These are the Ethiopians. So if Israel is like and the Ethiopians unto him, what color are Israel? They are the same color people, brothers and sisters. The same color people. That's why he said, are you not as the children of Ethiopian unto me? O you children of Israel. Go ahead.
Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Ker?
Uh-huh.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the
Mm-hmm.
Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
You
All
hear
the
what he
sinners
says?
of
I will sift Israel among the nations. Brothers and sisters, Israel is among all the nations because God scattered Israel to the four corners of the earth. So he said, that's why I will sift Israel among the nation like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Right? You know when you sift corn or cornmeal? That's how Israel is amongst the nation. Go ahead.
all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Uh-huh.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I
Uh-huh.
will raise up its ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old,
Go ahead.
that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which are called by name, saith the Lord that doeth this.
So we may possess that the real Israelite will possess the people who is oppressing them now, all the heathens, brothers and sisters. Take note. Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and
And
the
who is the
treader of
plowman?
grapes.
Who is the plowman? Israel is the plowman. Who is the reaper? The other nations are the reaper. And he says, in that day, the plowman will overtake the reaper. So just like how the reaper is getting his good grains now, guess what? In the time to come, Israel will be the one getting his grain. Go ahead.
And the
The
treader
stone
of
will
grapes,
turn.
him that soweth seed, and the
Mhm.
mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt.
Go ahead.
And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them.
Hmm.
And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given them, saith the Lord thy God.
So why now is these people falling into the hands of God? Why are you playing into him, brothers and sisters? Why are the enemies playing into his hands? Skip the let's go to Zechariah for time's sake. Let's go to Zechariah 1. Skip them. Let's go to Zechariah 1. We're gonna read 15 to 17. Zechariah 1, 15 to 17. Zechariah 1, 15 to 17. When you get it, you go ahead. Zechariah 1, 15 to 17.
And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. I was but a little displeased, and they helped for the affliction.
So
Therefore,
God is saying, I am so displeased with the heathens that are at ease because the people that kill it us, the people that is wronging us, and they don't find no fault. They don't find no wrongdoing. They are at ease. So God is saying, I'm very displeased with the heathens that are at ease. For I was just a little displeased with my people. But these heathens, what they do, they further the affliction. Look at what they're doing to God's people. But brothers and sisters, heathens take take warning. God will require its payment. He will require payment. Why are you playing into the hands of God? Go ahead.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. A house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a
Mm-hmm.
line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Cry yet, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad. The
Mm-hmm.
Lord shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem.
He will yet choose Jerusalem and Israel, his people. Let's skip to Isaiah 51. He's going to choose Jerusalem and his people. So the people who are ease that is killing Israel, the people who they're supposed to be blessing, they're killing them. God is going to require it at your hands. You will have to pay for your wrongdoing. All will have to pay for their wrongdoing. Isaiah 51, we're going to read 16 to 20. Isaiah 51, 16 to 20. Isaiah 51, 16 to 20. Go ahead, my brother.
And I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand, that I may plant the heavens, and lay the foundations of the earth, and say
Mm-hmm.
unto Zion, thou art my people. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out.
Uh-huh.
There is none to guide her among all the sons whom he hath brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up.
Go ahead.
These two things are come upon thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee?
Uh-huh.
Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God.
So thy sons they have fainted and lie at the head of all the street. So when you go in all these cities, brothers and sisters, all these countries, go in the cities, who is at the corners? Who is hanging out at the corners? Israel, the people who call themselves that, they own the world, they own the media, they own everything. Are they hanging out at the street corners? No, brothers and sisters, this don't fit them. Who are hanging out at the street corners? Israel. We are the Negroes. Go ahead.
That's it.
Let's go down now to Isaiah 42. Go backwards to Isaiah 42, and we're going to read 18 to 24. We are the one that is hanging out on the street corners. It is not them, because they are drunk with the fury of the Lord. Isaiah 42, 18 to 24. You get it when you get it.
Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see.
Uh huh.
Who is blind but my servant,
Uh
or
huh.
deaf as my messenger that I sent?
Mm-hmm.
Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant?
So God is saying, who is blind but my people? My people are the blind ones. Go ahead.
Saying many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not.
Uh huh.
The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
Go ahead.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
He said, this is the
There are,
people robbed and spoiled. Go ahead.
there are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison. They are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliver it, for a spoil, and none say it restore.
So God said, where is my people? They are hidden away in prison houses. Brothers and sisters, just do your research. Look at the census. Look at the population of the prison system. Where are we? Where are Israel? In the prison system, brothers and sisters. We come off the slave ships and now we're in the slave jails. So this is where my people is, in the prison system. Who is this talking about, brothers and sisters? It's talking about the Negroes. It's not talking about the people who's calling themselves the Jews. Go ahead.
Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Uh huh.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did
Mm-hmm.
not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned?
Mm-hmm.
For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
So who is the one that bring this judgment upon us? It says, who gave Jacob for spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, he on whom they have sinned? So God is the one that gave us up to these heathens to be punished. But remember, he said, the heathens further the afflictions, and God will require it at their hands. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Actually, let's go to Psalms 83 and read 1 to 3. Psalms 83, 1 to 3. Psalms 83, 1 to 3. And then we have one more after that, brothers and sisters. Psalms 83, 1 to 3. Right?
Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
So to the
For
mouth of
lo,
David, David is saying, hold not your peace and don't be silent, Lord. Go ahead.
for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
So the enemies, which is the heathens, the other nation, they have taken crafty counsel against Israel, his people, the people that they are supposed to be blessing. The people that they're supposed to be blessing, they have taken crafty counsel against them. Let's go to the last place. We're going to Deuteronomy chapter 4. We're going to read 1 to 2, 5 to 8, 12, 15 to 16, 19, and 24 to 31. This is the last place. Pause the video, brothers and sisters, and go back so you can write down the scriptures. We're moving on for time's sake. Deuteronomy 4, verse 1. You can go ahead.
Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgment which I teach you, but to do them, that ye may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you.
Mm-hmm.
5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Uh-huh.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations,
Mm-hmm.
which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
So God said he gave us commandments and statutes to keep, and this is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. Go ahead.
For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we called upon him for?
Mm-hmm.
And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day?
So if all the laws are righteous and good, why is the pastors them telling the people that they don't have to keep them? Go ahead.
12. And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. Only ye heard a voice.
Mm-hmm. 15.
15. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire.
Uh-huh.
Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female.
Uh-huh.
19. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
So, and that is what most of the nation is doing today. They're worshiping the moon and the stars and the sun. Go ahead.
24.
24.
24.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord
Yeah, go ahead. 24.
for the Lord thy God is consuming fire, is a consuming fire, even a jealous God.
Uh-huh.
When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image for the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall
Mm-hmm.
not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you.
So
And
these
there
people
shall
who
ye
are in these people who are in the land, did God remove their ancestors from the land? No, they were not removed from that land. They are strangers that is in the land now. They were not removed from the land. Go ahead.
and there shall ye serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou
Mm-hmm.
seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Mm-hmm.
When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shalt be obedient unto his voice. For the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them.
So, brothers and sisters, all we have to do, all God is begging for Israel to do, is to turn back to Him and serve Him, keep His laws, His commandments, His statutes, and His judgment that He gave them, the oath that He had, that covenant that He made with them in the wilderness, that blood covenant that we're under, that contract that He signed with them. The people who are calling themselves the Jews or the people of the land, brothers and sisters, they are not the people of the land. They were not removed from the land. They are strangers that is in the land. And God, when He comes back, He's telling you He's coming to settle the controversy over that land. So why are you playing into the hands of God knowing that you will be destroyed? Anyone that is fighting against God will be destroyed. The book testify of that. And all the heathen that is cursing Israel, God say He will curse. The book testify of that. And all the heathen that bless Israel, God said they will be blessed. Look at the harlot that was in Jericho. She helped Israel. Didn't God bless her? Didn't she get help? Yes, because she helped Israel. So, brothers and sisters, take heed. This is the lesson. Who did the Lord remove from remembrance? It is us, brothers and sisters. It is not them. I hope that you get some understanding. Again, my name is Brother Moses. This is Brother Demani. We're coming to you from Israel, the Lord's Vineyard, and we thank you for your time.